Now you'll learn how to flaunt your income, my mother stated, after completely draining my $14,000. My father smirked. Return to work. We're planning a trip to Tokyo with your next paycheck. Then my sister appeared, clutching keys to a shiny new car, and uttered, "Cheers for the upgrade." I simply burst out laughing so loud. They had absolutely no idea that money. Can you imagine waking up to find your entire bank account, not just your money, but money entrusted to you for a sick friend, completely gone? Swiped clean by the very people who claim to love you most? What would you do? My name's Mark. I'm 27, and for most of my life, if you asked my family who I was, they'd tell you I'm reliable. I tell you I'm the guy who remembers where everyone's chargers are, the one who moves the heavy boxes, who shows up on short notice, and yeah, who gets the last slice of pizza if the golden child isn't hungry. I work help desk at a logistics company. My life is simple. I like night bus rides with headphones on, late-night instant noodles, and spreadsheets that balance. I fix other people's problems at work, and apparently, I fix them at home too. It's my skill and my curse. My sister, Anna, she's 2 years younger. My mom calls her our star. Growing up, Anna got the spotlight, the recital videos, the framed certificates. Me? I won a city math contest once. My mom said, "That's nice," and then used the ribbon to tie a gift for Anna's birthday. My dad still laughs about that story. It's never been funny to me. As a kid, I learned to duck. Not from fists, my family doesn't hit. From words. Mark, can you be useful and walk the dog? Mark, you don't mind if Anna borrows your jacket, right? Mark, you're good with passwords. What's the Wi-Fi again? It was always small stuff. Nothing worth a fight. A slice here, a sip there. If you don't notice, no problem. If you do notice, you're making it weird. I got my first job at 16, and most of that money went straight to my mom. Rent isn't free, I live there, food cost money, lights cost money. I felt proud to contribute. They said I was a real man. Anna? She babysat twice that year, and my mom treated it like charity work. Her plate is full, she'd say. She's focusing on her future. My plate was full too. Mine just had dishes on it. Now, I live in a studio apartment 10 stops away from them. I still visit every Sunday. Roast chicken, TV on low, Dad talking about stocks, Mom asking Anna about opportunities. When I speak, it's usually to say, "Do you need help with that?" Last Sunday, I arrived early with a bag of groceries. Mom was buzzing around, phone on speaker, laughing with a friend. She waved at me, pointed to a stack of plates. "Don't drop those hands," she said. Hands. That's what she calls me sometimes. Like I'm a tool, not a person. Anna burst in later, perfume first, then her laugh. "There's our success story," Dad yelled from the couch, not even looking up from the sports. I set the table. It has a scratch on the left edge from when I was 9. I was doing my homework too hard. Mom says it was an accident, but the story is always told like I'm clumsy by nature. It's small, but it's permanent. Like a name carved in a tree. Dinner went the usual way. Dad passed chicken to Anna first. Mom asked how her week was. Anna talked about a networking brunch and a casting thing that might be huge. I listened. I always listen. Then Mom turned to me. That soft, careful voice she uses right before she asks for something. "Mark, you'll like this," she said. "We were just saying you should try a little more. Dress nicer. Speak up. Show people what you can do." Dad snorted. "Stop hiding, son. That's our advice. Stop hiding." Anna tilted her head. Gave me the smile you give a stray dog to make it not bite. "Yeah, Mark. Be confident. Like, don't be so, background. Background." I swallowed. My fork made a small, pathetic click against the plate. I could feel that old scratch under my fingers. I smiled back because that's my default. "Sure," I said. "I'll try." Mom nodded, pleased. "Good. And don't worry, we'll help you. We have plans." "Plans?" I asked, keeping my tone light, neutral. She reached across the table and patted my hand like I was a child coloring inside the lines. "You'll see," she said. "You'll finally learn how to show off a little. It's time." It sounded harmless. It always does at first. I've been the family fixer for so long it's muscle memory. High school. Dad forgot the internet bill? I talked to customer service for an hour. Got the late fee waived. Mom's phone ran out of storage the day of Anna's performance. I cleared files, moved photos to a drive so our star could be filmed. Car battery died. I was the jumper cable guy. TV remote vanished. I found it under a cushion Anna swore she never sat on. The money started small. Bus passes, then groceries. "We'll pay you back," Mom said. "Keep the receipts." I kept them in a Ziploc bag. Filled, turned into a shoebox, then a drawer. If I asked about it, Mom said, "Why are you counting? That's not family." Dad said, "Don't nickel and dime your own mother." So I stopped asking. My first real job was nights at a warehouse, then help desk during the day. I paid rent to Mom and Dad long after I moved out because family house, family help. Anna paid what she could, which often meant zero. She had opportunities that took time and investments, which needed seed money. My money. Dad has a line he loves. "We're a unit." He says it right before he divides everything into hours and marks. "Hey, can you spot us for the electricity? Just this month." "Hey, your sister's agent fee is due." It's a good one this time. Hey, we were thinking of taking a small trip for our anniversary. Nothing crazy. You know how hard we work. Nothing crazy. $300 here, $500 there. My raise became invisible the moment it hit my account. I told myself it was temporary. When Anna's big break came, they'd pay me back. When Dad's side hustle kicked in, he'd make me whole. It always rode on a next week that never showed. The humiliations were quiet, steady. At my birthday dinner 2 years ago, Mom made a joke in front of her friends. We don't need a savings account. We have Mark. Everyone laughed. I laughed too. It sounded like a compliment if you didn't look at the numbers. Last winter I got sick. Just the flu. Missed 3 days of work. Mom called on day 2. Could I drive Anna to a photo shoot? I said I had a fever. Put on a mask, she said. You're young. Your sister's doing something important. Like what I do isn't. My heat was rising, even without the fever. She sighed that long, put-upon sigh. Don't make this about you. I drove Anna anyway. She asked if she could use my card for gas. I'll transfer you, she said, opening her phone like the promise lived there. It didn't land. Over time, my phone became a ledger of unpaid promises. 63, I'll pay you Friday texts. 19, can you do me a quick favor? Calls. 0 transfers that matched the words. Here's where it got complicated. 2 months ago, a coworker named Lena told me she needed surgery. Insurance covered a chunk, but not all. The floor started a fundraiser. I volunteered to coordinate because, well, I'm the person who keeps spreadsheets. The money landed in my account first because of how payouts worked. We raised $14,000 in 3 weeks. Every $5 note had a name. I kept a separate tab: time, amount, username. I felt protective over it like it belonged to a kid. That Friday, the platform sent the payout. I saw the balance, $14,000. My plan was simple. Transfer it to Lena on Monday, right after the funds settled in my bank and the fraud hold lifted. I took screenshots. I set alarms. I triple-checked the routing number. I slept better that night than I had in months. Doing good felt like breathing real air. Saturday, I visited my parents. The dinner with the plans. I didn't mention the money because it wasn't mine to mention. I plugged my phone into their kitchen charger while I chopped vegetables. Mom asked for my password to connect the Wi-Fi to the TV. I typed it in. The usual muscle memory tap. There was a moment, a flicker that I ignored. An open door I didn't see as an open door. Sunday morning. 3 missed calls from Mom and a new message. Call me when you wake. Big news. I smiled, half asleep. Maybe Anna got a part. Maybe Dad finally sold the old sports cards he keeps under the bed, the collection he talks about like a retirement account. I made coffee. I planned to send Lena a one more day text, just to reassure her. Felt like a clean, hopeful morning. Before I could do any of that, Mom called again. Come over, she said, bright like confetti. For what? I asked. You'll see, she chirped. We're doing something nice. That word again. Nice, show off. Plans. I put on the good shirt that makes me look like I iron, even when I don't. On the train, I watched a kid press his forehead to the window and laugh at his reflection. I tried to match the feeling. I tried to be part of a happy story. I stepped into my parents' apartment. For the first time in years, they looked like they were winning. Balloons hung in the kitchen. Dad had on the grill master apron he wears when he wants to look busy. Mom caught my face in both hands like I just come home from war. There he is, she said. Our boy is finally living. Living, I echoed. Dad clapped my back. Sit down, son. We did a thing. My stomach did a slow turn. What thing? Mom pulled me toward the table and slid her phone over. It was open to my bank app, my account. The one with Lena's fundraiser deposit. The balance read, $0. I didn't understand the number at first. My brain tried to rearrange digits that weren't there. What is this? I asked, voice flat. Mom beamed. We helped you. You keep saying you're shy. You save and save but never enjoy. So we took action. We moved that big amount so it could actually do something. Now you'll finally know how to show off with your salary. Dad poured himself a drink. Like he was toasting a smart trade. We're booking Tokyo, he said. You'll get another paycheck soon anyway. You're steady. We deserve a little splurge. I stared at the screen. The app showed 3 transfers. $7,000 to Mom's checking. $5,000 to Dad's. $2,000 to a card in Anna's name. Saturday, 10:12 a.m. I could see my own face in the black glass, small and calm. How did you even? I started. Mom waved a hand. We guessed your password. You used the same one. It's family. Stop being dramatic. The front door opened. Anna walked in, holding up a set of keys, nails painted silver. Guess who just upgraded? She sang. Thank you, Mark. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because they truly had no idea that money wasn't even mine. Upgrade. I repeated. My car, she said, dangling the keys. The old one was unsafe. Dad says I need reliable. This is an investment in my career. Dad nodded. She has to be able to get to auditions. I sat down, not because I wanted to, but because my legs didn't feel like legs anymore. Mom leaned in. Don't look like that. We left your rent money, and we'll pay you back, obviously. Family first. That wasn't my money. I said. Mom laughed. Oh, stop. I didn't stop. Something in me finally stood up, even while I was sitting. It wasn't my money, I repeated. It belonged to Lena. She needs surgery. People donated. I was holding it until Monday. Silence hit the room like a dropped plate. Dad blinked slow. Don't be ridiculous. Why would other people's money be in your account? Because I'm coordinating the fundraiser, I said. It's all tracked. Names, amounts. I have to pay her. Monday. Anna lowered the keys an inch. Wait. Mom's face hardened. Well, you should have told us. Or not guessed my password, I said. Dad straightened, his voice moving from soft to steel. Don't accuse your mother. We're trying to help you be less closed. You're making this more than it is. It is more, I said. It's theft. Anna flinched at the word. Okay. Let's not throw around crimes. You moved $14,000, I said. To book a vacation and buy a car, with a password you had no right to use, for money that isn't ours. Mom put her palms on the table, fingers spread. You always make things so heavy. We will pay it back. Your next paycheck. No, I said. Dad's eyes narrowed. Excuse me? No, I repeated. My voice didn't rise. It was steady like reading instructions. This isn't happening. You're going to reverse the transfers. Now, today. Call the bank. Call the dealership. Whatever it takes. Mom's mouth opened and closed. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not talking at you, I said. I'm stating what's going to happen. We are going to put the money back. Dad stood. You think you can order us? After everything we've done? You mean after everything I've done? I said. I've paid your bills for years. I've driven your daughter to jobs when I was sick. I've been your safety net. I'm done being a net. Anna's voice was small. I already signed. So call and unsign, I said. Or get a different car. Or Uber. I don't care. But the money goes back. Mom grabbed my wrist. Mark, please. Don't throw away your family over a misunderstanding. This isn't about revenge, I said. And I felt each word land like a clean step on solid ground. This is about closure. About boundaries. About doing the right thing before it gets worse. Dad scoffed. Worse? You wouldn't dare get the police involved. I don't want to, I said. I want you to fix it because it's the decent thing. I want to keep this inside these walls. But if it's not back by tonight, I'm reporting fraud. I have the screenshots, the timestamps, the login location. I'll also tell Lena and the donors exactly what happened. And I'll own my part. I will not lie for you. Anna sank into a chair. He's now quiet on the table. Mom's cheeks flushed red. Dad's jaw worked like he was chewing something tough. 9, I said. What? Mom asked. 9 hours, I said, checking the time. That's how long you have before I start making calls. I stood up. My legs worked again. Anna looked at me. Mark, are you serious? For the first time in a long time, I said. Yes. I left their apartment at 12:14 p.m. At 12:16 p.m., Mom texted. Don't be impulsive. At 12:18 p.m., Dad called. I let it ring. At 12:21 p.m., Anna sent a row of crying emojis and let's talk. At 12:30 p.m., I told Lena the truth. I didn't dress it up. I called, voice shaking, and said, I messed up. I kept the funds in my account for the weekend, and my family accessed it without permission. I am getting it back today. If I don't, I'll take a loan. You will not go without because of me. Lena was quiet, then said, Thank you for telling me. Do what you have to do. My pre-op is Tuesday. The trust in her tone hurt more than yelling would have. 1:10 p.m. I called the bank's fraud line. I explained everything. They flagged the transfers and started holds. We cannot guarantee a reversal, the rep said. But we'll investigate. 1:46 p.m. Mom. We're at the bank. They're asking questions. 2:03 p.m. Dad. This is humiliating. 2:15 p.m. Anna. I can try to return the car deposit, but the dealership guy is being difficult. 2:17 p.m. Me. Do it. By 3 p.m., my phone showed 27 missed calls and 45 texts. Kept going. 62 messages by 5 p.m. People think the sound is the hard part. It's not. It's the small gray preview on the lock screen. You're overreacting. We have needs too. We said we'll pay it back. Every sentence tried to shrink the problem. None of them said, We're sorry. I made a list on a sticky note. Bank case number 4837 opened. Lena informed. Deadline 9 p.m. backup plan. Credit union loan, paycheck advance, cell laptop. At 5:30 p.m., I moved the $600 from my rent envelope to a new envelope labeled Lena. It felt like moving water from one cup to another in a house on fire. Still, it was something I could control. At 6:22 p.m., Anna called again. I answered. I talked to the dealership, she said, voice small. They'll refund if I cancel today. Dad's mad. Cancel, I said. She hesitated. He says you'll forgive us, like you always do. I'm not angry, I said. I'm making a boundary. She snorted. Same thing. It's not, I said. Anger wants to hit. Boundaries want to protect. Silence. Then, I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't think. I know, I said. Start thinking. 7:05 p.m. Mom texted a photo of a teller window and the words, "We're fixing it." 7:12 p.m. Dad, "You forced your mother to cry in public." 7:30 p.m. Anna, "Deposit reversed. Screenshot attached." At 8:18 p.m., my bank app updated. $5,000 back. At 8:26 p.m., another $2,000. At 8:41 p.m., the last $7,000. The $14,000 sat there again like a kid found on the sidewalk and brought home. I didn't cry. I didn't cheer. I took 3 screenshots and sent them to Lena with the line, "We're good for Monday again." "I'm sorry." She sent a heart. That tiny red shape felt heavier than all the calls. At 9:02 p.m., Dad called. I answered. "You happy now?" he said. "I'm relieved," I said. "You made us look like criminals," he said. "You look like people who made a bad choice and corrected it," I said. "That's the best version of this." He huffed. "Your mother says you're cutting us off." "I'm not," I said. "I'm changing the rules. No more passwords. No more loans. No more surprise family taxes. If you need help, you ask. If I can, I'll say yes with a number and a date. If I can't, I'll say no. No more guilt. No more jokes about me being a bank. And if you ever access my accounts again, I press charges." "You'd send your own parents to jail?" "I'd protect other people's money and my own," I said. "And I'd protect me." He tried one more thing. "After all we sacrificed for you." I stared at the far wall of my apartment, the cheap clock ticking. "I know what you sacrificed," I said. "I was there. I'm grateful for the basics. You fed me. You housed me. That was your job. My job is to grow up and take care of my life, not to fund your lifestyle. We are even." He hung up without a goodbye. For 3 days, my phone was a weather report for a storm I wasn't standing in. Missed calls, long texts, voicemail speeches. Mom tried sweet, then mean, then sweet again. "You broke my heart. You're ungrateful. Come home for dinner. I made your favorite." Dad stuck to grunts, typed his words. "Whatever. Fine. Remember who you are." Anna sent updates about looking at a used car within her budget and proof that she canceled the dealership contract. She also asked if I could still help her compare rates. I told her I could send a link to a calculator. That was it. I changed my accounts, set up new passwords, added 2-factor authentication with a physical key. I moved the fundraiser money to a separate bank entirely and scheduled the Monday transfer. I switched the charger in my parents' kitchen for a $5 one from the pharmacy and wrote marks on it in Sharpie. Petty, maybe, but it reminded me that I could label things that were mine. Lena's surgery happened on Wednesday. I sent flowers from the group with a card that said, "From everyone who believes in you." I signed my name last. At 4:18 p.m., her sister texted, "Surgery went well." I closed my eyes and let my shoulders drop. That was the first real breath since Saturday. By Friday, the apartment felt different. Quiet, but not empty. No scramble, no dread. I made a simple routine and stuck to it like it was a new job. 7 a.m. Stretch, coffee, short walk. 8 a.m. Work, lunch, eat something with colors. After work, 30 minutes of cleaning or laundry. Then a book, no screens. 10:30 p.m. Phone on Do Not Disturb. The numbers changed too, not just in my account but everywhere. The drawer with old receipts became a trash bag. The shoebox of IOUs became space for socks. The sticky note list got shorter. On Sunday, I didn't go to dinner. I sent a message Saturday night instead. "Taking a few weeks. I love you. Talk soon." Mom sent 13 question marks. Dad wrote, "Fine." Anna sent, "Proud of you." The apartment stayed quiet. Felt like losing something. It also felt like finding something I'd never held before. I didn't cut my family out of my life. I just stopped letting them stand in my pockets. A week later, Mom asked if I could come by, just to talk. I said I could meet at a cafe at 2 p.m. 1 hour, public place. She showed up with an apology cake and a heavy perfume cloud. "I overstepped," she said, shiny-eyed. "I thought I was helping. I didn't think it through." "I believe you," I said. "But belief isn't the same as permission." She nodded. "Small rules then." "What are your rules?" "Simple," I said. "No passwords. No jokes about me being a bank. If you need help, ask with a number and a date. Accept no for an answer. And if you touch my accounts again, I file a report. There's no second conversation." She winced at the last part. "You've changed." "I'm trying to be an adult," I said. "Adults have boundaries. They also have empathy. I will help when I can. I won't when I can't. I'll never help if it means hurting someone else." She looked at the cake box. "I can live with that." Dad took longer. He sent a single text 2 weeks later. "We're grilling Sunday." I replied, "Maybe next time." He wrote back, "We miss you." It was the most honest thing he'd said in a while. Anna and I text like normal people now. She sends me a photo of a dented older sedan and writes, "Meet Bessie." I send a link to a video on how to check oil. She sends a screenshot of her budget app with real categories and real numbers. I send a thumbs up. She doesn't ask for gas money. I don't offer. It's peaceful. I kept my routines. I added things. A free community class on basic car maintenance. A savings account titled Mark for Mark. $50 every paycheck, no matter what. A rule. I don't explain my hobbies. If I want to learn to bake or take a bus to the beach and sit, I do it. And the story ends there. I think about that moment at the table. The silence after I said the money wasn't mine. If I poke it, I can still feel the old reflex, the urge to soothe, to say it's okay, to pretend the numbers didn't matter. I let the urge pass. I remember the donors, the list of names, the way $5 stacked up next to 25 and became hope. I remember Lena's sister's text. I remember my own breath after. People love to say family is everything. I agree. Family is also people. People need rules. Love without boundaries is just noise. So, here's my final note to myself and to anyone who needs a stranger's permission to do the thing that looks like betrayal, but is actually repair. I won't be the background anymore. I won't be a wallet with legs. I won't trade peace for approval. I can love you and say no. I can help you and still keep what's mine. If you call me selfish for that, fine. I've been called worse things for trying to be good. This isn't about revenge. It never was. It's about closure, the kind that lets everyone grow up. And if anyone asks how to show off with a salary, I'll tell them the truth. The best flex is a boundary. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you had to draw a really tough line with family? What did you do and how did it turn out? Let me know in the comments below.